Folks, welcome back to another episode of The Fallen Badge. Today we're going to look at the murder of Officer Joseph McGarry, Myrtle Beach Police Department, South Carolina. Now, Officer McGarry, he had 4 years on the Myrtle Beach Police Department. He was 28 years old. Now, he had a fiancée. In fact, 5 days before he was murdered, he had proposed marriage. Now, his folks were still alive. Now, this story is going to start about a month before Officer McGarry is killed. Now, most of this material I got from South Carolina appellate courts. Now, there was a drug ring operating there around Myrtle Beach and the surrounding area. Now, this dope guy, the Big Cheese, he had several people working under him. Now, one of the people working under him is going to be the suspect responsible for murdering Officer McGarry. Now, this big dope boy, he decides that there's a fella's house needs to be burnt down. So he gets one of his drug dealers that works for him, and he tells him, go burn down that fella's house. Well, this underling, he doesn't do a very good job. The house doesn't get burnt. So now this alleged dope ring leader, he decides he's going to have to take out this fella that failed to burn down the house. So he's going to bump off one of his dealers. Now, I've got a couple of different timelines for when this dope boy is going to be murdered, sometime between Thanksgiving and Christmas. I've also got another reference that states it was in November of 2002. Well, on the night of this first murder, the big dope guy, the suspect that's going to kill Officer McGarry, the dope boy that failed to burn down the house, and then the girlfriend of the big dope boy, they're all in a car, and they're driving into a wooded area in Marion County, which is northwest of Myrtle Beach. Now, they had told this dope boy that, or implied to him, that they were going to kill the Big Cheese's girlfriend. That's why he's going along so willingly on this little car trip. Now, he's not going to find out till too late that actually he's going to be the guest of honor at this murder. So they get out in the woods and they stop the car, and the girlfriend, she stays in the car. Well, the three men, the dope boss, the suspect that killed Officer McGarry, and the little dope dealer all go out in the woods and they start digging a grave. Now they get the grave dug. They all go back to the car and take a smoke break. Now, while they're having this smoke break, the boss dope guy, he passes a pistol over to the suspect that's later going to murder Officer McGarry. So now all three men, they go back into the woods and finish digging. Now, once they get done, the suspect, he shoots this dope guy, shoots him multiple times. And then they throw the dirt on him and he's buried, and that's the end of the story. At least this part of the story. Now, 6 months later, they would find this dope guy's grave, and the Big Cheese dope dealer and suspect that killed Officer McGarry, they're both going to do a little time in prison for that murder. It's December 29th, 2002. Officer McGarry and his partner, they're working one of those proactive units that's out in the city. Now they decide to take a little break, so they pull over to a Dunkin' Donuts. It sits on the northeast corner of 30th Avenue and North Kings Highway, which is also known as State Route 17. So they step inside the business there, and Officer McGarry, he sees the suspect that he's arrested before, and there's two people with him. Now he knows that this suspect sells dope because he's arrested him before for felony dope. Now there's also the words gotten around that this suspect may have killed a fella, and it's not the one that just got through killing, it's another one. Now Officer McGarry, he tells his partner, let's step back outside, because he tells him, he says, look, he's possibly connected to at least one shooting, and he's always carrying a gun, so we're going to go outside and get them when they come out. That way it'll cut down on any innocent civilians getting in the line of fire. So they sit outside and they wait a few minutes, and the suspect, he steps out of the door with the other two. Now Officer McGarry asked the suspect, asked him if he remembers him, and then he asked the suspect, you take care of those charges that I had arrested you on? And the suspect said he had. So Officer McGarry, he asked for the suspect's ID, and he's going to check him for wants and warrants. Now while they're waiting on the dispatcher to get back that information, Officer McGarry, he tells the suspect, said, I'm going to pat you down. So the suspect, he tells Officer McGarry that no, he's not. And he turns and starts walking away from him. So now he's got his back to the two officers. Well, now that's a bad sign now. Now what the officers didn't see was the suspect's right hand kind of dropped down near the front of his waistband as he's walking away. Now Officer McGarry tells him to stop and to show his hands. So the suspect keeps walking, and Officer McGarry, he unholsters his pistol. Tells the suspect to let me see your hands. Now at this point, Officer McGarry, he decided to reholster, and he ran up and he grabbed the suspect from behind. Now they're out in the parking lot, and Officer McGarry's trying to get control of the suspect's right hand because he can't tell what he's got there, but he knows he's going for something. And with his left hand, he's trying to control the suspect's movements. So now the officer and the suspect, they stumble around and they get separated from each other, and they're up against the suspect's vehicle. Now the suspect's able to regain his balance. He pulls out a .45 caliber handgun, and he fires one shot, hits Officer McGarry in the head. ME estimated the distance would have been 8 to 12 inches. Now the shot temporarily incapacitates Officer McGarry, and he falls backwards and hits his head on the pavement. Now when the suspect shoots Officer McGarry's partner, he draws his weapon and he starts cranking off rounds at the suspect. One of his rounds hits the suspect in the leg. So now the suspect and the second officer, they're now engaged in a gunfight. They're behind cars shooting at each other. Now at one point the suspect tells the officer, say, hey, I'm going to surrender. And for whatever reason now, the second officer, he took a violent felon at his word. According to the resource material, he leaves his position of safety and starts walking towards the suspect. Well, the suspect's done reloaded his .45 auto, and he starts cranking off rounds at the officer. Now he doesn't hit the officer. The officer retreats to cover, calls for backup, and they keep on shooting at each other. Now finally the suspect's able to leave the scene with these other members of his little group. And there's a high-speed chase, goes through Myrtle Beach. Finally, they used stop sticks. They disabled the vehicle and they arrested the suspect. Now, they recovered a .45 caliber pistol and they were able to match it up as the weapon used to kill Officer McGarry. Now, Officer McGarry, he died there on the parking lot. Now, some of the resource material I saw actually said that Officer McGarry regained consciousness while he's laying in the parking lot and was able to give out the shooter's name and even spell the last name of the suspect. Now, currently, the suspect, he's sitting on death row for the murder of Officer McGarry, and he got a life sentence, I believe, for killing that alleged drug dealer that botched the arson. Officer Joseph John McGarry. End of watch, December 29th, 2002.